The biggest issue on these transfers, there are 3 transfers. We won all 3 at the same time. So there's 3 transfers, there's 3 business plans, there's 3 residence boards, and a big objective at the beginning was to knit the whole process together, to get everything working at the same time, to the same standards, the same quality. We also in the document made some very tough promises. 2 years decent homes on over 2,500 units. There are also a lot of conservation areas, lots of varied property styles, and the high standards that we were promising have to be maintained throughout. The pre-planning and everything was very difficult. We spent 6 months before the transfer putting everything together in order on day one we started. So high targets have been set by everybody, and the resident boards and the promises and the local authority monitor our performance against those targets. The biggest achievement to date is the fact that we started on day one of the transfer, and by start on day one we actually started ripping out kitchens, bathrooms, electrics, windows, and this was a result of 6 months pre-planning, where we went into partnership with contractors who actually trusted us to such an extent that they signed contracts and leases for yards and compounds. The supply chain was put in place, subcontractors were engaged. We had, at the time of the transfer, I think 600 residents had already signed up their options, appraisals, and we were ready to go. We had several months worth of work already booked in. This was a big risk for all, but a risk that's paid off and was one of our key promises. The stock transfers were in 3 separate areas, but roughly arranged themselves into a 50-50 split, with 1 transfer and 2 transfers together. We had 2 consultants and 2 contractors who've roughly got half the stock. We set the benchmarking and the standards and the options appraisals and the show flats all in the same way. We set them targets, and for the first time, and this is from them, they see this as an open partnership. There's lots of rhetoric, there's lots of box ticking with other partnerships, but they see this and we see this as, for the first time, we've seen real partnering. The performance of everybody involved is high, and they come to meetings, they come to the benchmark sessions, they come to each other's properties, and each contractor, each consultant, same as all of us, we're better at some things than others. What this has allowed them to do is to see what the other does better than them and to bring their own standards up. There's no fear of being second, because as long as you're bringing the standards up all the time and you've got something to achieve, they're not concerned that somebody's slightly better than them at the moment, because in their idea they'll be better at that next time. And there's a constant ebb and flow, nice and gentle rhetoric between them to push the standards. We keep them under control at times when they're trying to point score, but it works well, the objective. And overall, this also helps to keep the cost down, because we're looking at more efficient ways. And the residents, the satisfaction levels on all 3 transfers are almost identical. They're in the high 90s, and it's a testament to everything working at the same level.